Welcome to the Explainer. So picture this. A European football juggernaut has just touched down on a stunning, picturesque island in South Korea. Today, we're diving into the opening chapter of the 2026 Audi Summer Tour, and specifically, Bayern Munich's absolutely fascinating clash against K-League One side Jeju SK. Now, if you're thinking this was just going to be a sleepy, relaxed summer friendly in the sun, you are definitely in for a surprise. This match ended up being a really complex puzzle for the Bavarian Giants. It tested their fitness, their tactical depth, and honestly their adaptability under the incredibly humid lights of the Jeju World Cup Stadium. Okay, let's dive right into this. First on the agenda, a Jeju Island homecoming. Second, we'll look at the preseason puzzle. Third, 4 minutes of magic. And finally, number 4, the final verdict.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, a Jeju Island homecoming, a special return.
Let's set the scene here. It's August 4th, 2026. The sun is setting beautifully over the Jeju World Cup Stadium, and thousands of super passionate fans have gathered to watch Vincent Kompany's squad gear up for the first real test of their Asian Summer Tour. Obviously, they were there to build critical match fitness, but just as importantly, they wanted to really connect with the Korean fan base that had been eagerly awaiting their arrival. And, when we talk about that fan base, this match held an incredibly special, emotional significance for Bayern's defensive rock, Kim Min-jae. For him, this wasn't just another fixture on a global tour, it was a true homecoming. It gave him this rare opportunity to step out onto the pitch and play directly in front of domestic fans who view him not just as a talented center back, but as an absolute superstar of the sport. The atmosphere inside the stadium, every single time he was near the ball, was literally electric. Moving right along to Section 2, the preseason puzzle, a clash of realities. And this brilliantly illustrates the contrasting states of the two teams as they stepped onto the grass. We saw a really stark contrast in physical realities here. On one side, you have Bayern Munich, deep in the trenches of preseason. They're actively experimenting with lineups, trying to integrate this mix of returning stars and youthful prospects. But on the other side, you have Jeju SK. They are right in the thick of their mid-season K-League campaign. Now, because they were sitting comfortably in the top half of the table, their manager, Sergio Costa, actually had the luxury of resting several of his key starters. Yet, because they're in mid-season form, even Jeju's squad players were incredibly match fit and entirely ready to compete. For Bayern, that experimental lineup we saw was heavily dictated by the calendar. You might have noticed some big names were missing. Major superstars like Harry Kane, Jamal Musiala, and Michael Olise were still on vacation following their massive exertions at the World Cup. But you know how it goes. When major doors close, others open. This absence paved the way for hungry young faces to step up. Players like Tom Bischoff, stepping out in Bayern's brand new white and blue away kit. He actually fired the very first warning shot of the game, letting fly from distance right after the opening whistle. So the crucial point to take away here is that this trip was strictly business for the Bavarian side. Captain Manuel Neuer, who was resting in the stands for this particular match, made the team's internal mindset perfectly clear before kickoff. He said, "We're not doing this tour just for the fans, we're also doing it for ourselves, because we're in the middle of our preseason preparations. For the German champions, athletic preparation, physical conditioning, and building tactical cohesion were the absolute top priorities of the night. No doubt about it." Let's jump into Section 3. 4 minutes of magic, an explosive first half. I want to inject some pace into this part because, wow, this game exploded into life. Let's map out this rapid-fire sequence of events that completely define the match. Boom, we hit the 11th minute. Bayern is dominating possession. Felipe Chávez, who honestly had been the most lively player on the pitch, picks up the ball on the right side of the Jeju box. He cuts inside and delivers this beautifully calm, composed finish right into the far corner. 1-0 to Bayern. But wait, the lead barely lasts. Literally just 4 minutes later, in the 15th minute, Jeju SK equalizes. The intensity skyrockets, the temperature is rising, and all this end-to-end action forces the referee to call a much-needed hydration break in the 28th minute. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is exactly how that 15th minute equalizer happened. It didn't just come from a simple tap-in, oh no. It was born from pure audacity. Brazilian forward Matheus Aiás executed a flawless rainbow flick. And get this, he didn't do it over just anyone. He pulled this trick off and left defensive giant Kim Min-jae completely in his wake. After that stunning moment of magic, Aiás perfectly squared the pass to his captain Lee Chang-min, who just steered it past the keeper to make it 1-1. That equalizer completely shifted the psychological momentum of the whole game. It genuinely stunned a Bayern side that was so used to dominating possession. Suddenly, the German champions were leaving gaps. They looked highly vulnerable to the counterattack. The defensive pressure really ramped up, actually forcing Kim Min-jae into making a remarkably fine, crucial tackle just to stop another incredibly dangerous Jeju break. Combine all that end-to-end sprinting with the grueling Jeju humidity we talked about, and it becomes very clear why that 28th-minute hydration break was an absolute physical necessity for the players on both sides.
Which brings us to our final part, Section 4, the final verdict, a fair reflection. As both managers inevitably made a flurry of second-half substitutions, the natural flow and rhythm of the match were, well, heavily disrupted. The frenetic pace we saw earlier slowed down significantly, and clear-cut scoring chances became very few and far between. When the final whistle ultimately blew, the scoreboard read 1-1, and looking at the balance of play, a draw was a completely fair reflection of the evening. Bayern Munich successfully secured the fitness minutes their manager was looking for, but for Jeju SK, this meant so much more. Holding one of the biggest, most prestigious football clubs in the entire world to a draw was a massively proud moment and a highly celebrated result for both the K-League side and their local supporters in the stands.
After the match, Bayern manager Vincent Kompany provided a very honest and insightful takeaway. He described this entire summer tour as, quote, a puzzle we are trying to solve. It's like a giant puzzle, really. He highlighted the complex challenge of slowly integrating players who are just coming back from injury, alongside those returning late from the World Cup. It's this delicate balancing act of fitness and tactics. And that quote perfectly frames why this match was the ideal opening chapter for the tour. It showed Kompany exactly which pieces of a squad's puzzle still need to be snapped together. Which leaves us with a final, pretty provocative thought to end this explainer. The German champions undeniably have the talent, they have the depth, and they have the drive. But building team chemistry and match sharpness, that takes time. So how long will it actually take Bayern Munich to solve their preseason puzzle? With the high-stakes domestic season rapidly approaching, Vincent Kompany's clock is officially ticking. Thank you so much for diving into this with me, and definitely keep your eyes on how this squad continues to evolve.